Hello, men. I'm gonna read a story right now. That's a typical story coming from a man that discovered that his wife was cheating. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I want to try to grow this channel as a place where men can get together and understand it's not your fault, it's her fault. She's the one that's doing this. Don't make any excuses for her behavior. She's the one that's doing this. Got an email from this gentleman who wants to stay anonymous, so we'll keep it that way. Wife was cheating, and later on, he talks about the divorce. I'll never forget the day I found out. It was an autumn morning, the kind where the leaves crunch under your boots and the air feels sharp against your skin. I was sitting in our kitchen table, or at our kitchen table, sipping coffee, scrolling through emails, looking at TikTok, oblivious to how life was about to change. Her phone buzzed on the counter, and without a second thought, I glanced at it. It wasn't an invasion of privacy, it was instinctive. Trust me, we all did that. We all have done that, you know what I'm saying? A reflex. But what I saw made my heart stop. It was a text message from a man. It read, "Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you again." Wow. Let me read that again. This is what he saw. Just woke up on a random morning on his wife's phone. "Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you again, babe." I froze. My hand was trembling as I set my coffee mug down. I've been there. I've read text messages from my cheating wife. Man, heart trembling. Just can't even eat. That's how it is. My mind raced, desperately trying to justify the message. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, a prank, or something, anything but the truth. But deep down, I knew. I got that gut feeling. Trust that gut feeling. Happened to me. Her footsteps, or I could hear her footsteps coming down the hallway as she got closer to the kitchen. Her face lighted up with a smile that now felt like a lie. "Good morning, honey," she said, leaning in for a kiss. I pulled back, unable to meet her gaze. "Who's this?" I asked, holding up her phone with the incriminating message open on the screen. The color drained from her face for a moment. She was silent, her mouth opening and closing like she was trying to form words. She was really probably thinking of a lie in her head. She was trying to form words, but she couldn't. Finally, she stammered. It's not what it looks like." Famous words of all fucking cheaters. But it was exactly what it looked like. He continues, "Over the next 4 days, I became a detective in my own marriage." Been there too. I combed through phone records, credit card statements, and even checked the GPS history on her phone. The evidence piled up like bricks in a wall. Now, man, this is deep. Dinner dates I hadn't been on, hotel stays I hadn't known about, and gifts I've never received. It was all there in black and white. When I confronted her again, she didn't deny it this time. She cried, begged, and "Gentlemen, do not fall for this. We all did. We all did. I did. I'm going to say for myself, I did. I fell for the crying, fell for the pleading. They're lying, man. That's a defense mechanism for cheating women. Crying. She cried, begged, and pleaded for forgiveness. She claimed there was a mistake, a lapse in judgment. Man, and that it didn't mean anything. But how could it not mean anything? She'd taken the vows we made and shattered them into pieces, of course. Remember, she wouldn't be saying any of this if you didn't confront her. They only start talking this when they get caught. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain she'd inflicted on me. But instead, I felt numb. My world, the life we'd built together, was crumbling, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So he goes on. He took a long pause in the email, because it's hard when you have to go over these things again, you know what I mean? But it's therapeutic. So he goes on to talk about like the decisions that he began to make. I spent weeks in a fog trying to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to fight for our marriage because you're a good man. Part of me wanted to go to therapy and see if we could salvage what was left. But the other part of me, the part that felt betrayed and humiliated, knew I could never trust her again. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and ours had been obliterated. Wow. He's right. If there's no trust, you can forget it, man. It's over. I started meeting with a lawyer. I needed to understand my options, not just emotionally, but financially. I wasn't about to let her walk away with half of everything after what she's done. The lawyer listened carefully as I explained the situation, nodding thoughtfully. Lawyer, do you have proof of the affair? That's what the lawyer asked him. I nodded, handed over a folder filled with the evidence I've collected. Emails, text messages, photos, everything. He flipped through it, his expression unreadable. This will help, he said finally. But there are no guarantees in court. Judges can be unpredictable. Tell me about it. However, given the circumstances, you have a strong case for protecting your assets. I wasn't just fighting for my dignity. I was fighting for my future. I'd worked hard for everything I had, my career, my savings, my home. I wasn't about to let her betrayal ruin me. Goes on, now he's talking about the courtroom stuff. Wow, this is heavy. This is heavy. The divorce proceedings were brutal. She'd hired an aggressive lawyer who tried to paint me as a controlling, unfeeling husband who'd driven her into the arms of another man. Ain't that a bitch? Right? You unfeeling and controlling, so she just happened to go and fall on somebody's cock. These women are unbelievable, man. And these lawyers too, boy. Whew, wow. It was infuriating to sit there and listen to her lies. But I stayed calm. I had the truth on my side. And I wasn't about to let her manipulate the narrative. My lawyer presented the evidence methodically, piece by piece. Good job. Until there was no denying what she's done. The judge's expression shifted as the case unfolded. And I could tell he wasn't buying her excuses. You got yourself a good judge. In the end, the ruling was clear. She would not get anything. She wouldn't get nothing. Bitch, good for her. No alimony, no share of my retirement savings, no claim to the house. It was a rare outcome, that it is, very rare. But the judge cited her infidelity and overwhelming evidence was justification. Thank you, judge. When the gavel came down, I felt a mixture of relief and sadness. I hadn't won. I'd simply minimized the damage. The marriage was over, and there was no victory in that. All right, well, you know what? This is how men feel. Honestly, a lot of women don't feel like that when they break up a marriage. A lot of women just like, dang, I got half, I got this pension, I got the thing, and they move on to the next, Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's the man that sits back and think about, oh man, now I have to start over. Now I gotta go look for another woman. Now how can I trust women? So I understand where you're coming from. Okay, he talks about starting over. The weeks after divorce were some of the hardest of my life. The house felt empty. The house felt empty, filled with echoes of memories that now felt tainted. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling and wondering how I'd missed the signs. We've all done it. We've all done that, brother. But slowly I began to heal. I threw myself into my work, reconnected with old friends, and even started seeing a therapist. It was hard to open up at first, but it helped to have someone to talk to, someone who could help me process the withdrawal of emotions I've been suppressing. It's good that you did that. One day I stumbled across a journal I kept years ago, back when we first got married. As I flipped through the pages, I was struck by how hopeful and excited I'd been. I realized that the man who wrote those entries was still in there somewhere. Good job, brother. Buried under layers of pain and betrayal, I just had to find him again. Yes, sir. Hit the gym, eat right, get that therapist, talk it out. You can move on after divorce for a man. Months turned into years, and okay, so this story didn't just happen then. This happened a while back. Months turned into years, and I began to feel like myself again. I've learned a lot through this ordeal about her, about relationships, but most importantly, about myself. I discovered a strength I didn't know I had, a resilience that carried me through the darkest days. Good job, brother. I also learned to let go of anger. Holding on, okay, holding on to it would also keep me tethered to the past, and I was ready to move forward. Forgiveness didn't mean I condone what she's done. It meant I refused to let it, define me. That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. One afternoon, I was walking through the park when I saw a father playing catch with his son. The boy's laughter filled the air, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe one day, I will have that, a fresh start, a new chapter, etc., etc. Life doesn't always go that way. I'm sorry, life doesn't always go the way we plan. That's that's clear. Sometimes it shatters into pieces, leaving us to pick up and start over. But those broken pieces can form something new, something strong, and that is definitely exciting to think about. So I want to thank this gentleman again. He has to remain anonymous for sending in this story to us to help us men heal, help us know that we're not the only ones out there. Okay, I'm going through it right now. All right, I'm going to post my story eventually. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for listening. Send this to another man if he's going through it, or if you think he might be going through, even if he's not going through it, send it to someone who can learn from these things. Okay. If you're in a relationship and a woman doesn't want to show you her phone, that's a red flag right away. And it's been my experience that forgiving them, it's not really something that pans out right for the man in the long run. Anyhow, gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you on the next turn. Be safe.